Hi, I don't know who all is actually going to see this or if I'm actually going to upload this, but if you're seeing this, hi, I am a writer. I have a tattoo about it on my arm. Says when a writer's talking about his work, he's talking about a love affair. And yes, I don't have any problem with the male pronouns on my arm, but I am really bad at editing, and I have this 90,000 word manuscript that I finished last year just sitting on my computer, and I keep not wanting to look at it because I hate the editing process. It's so long. I've already done all of this stuff to get a story ready for querying before, and the idea of having to do all of that again, because the more I think about it, the more that story just isn't commercially viable and may yet still be indie published. But for right now, I have literally had agents tell me that they don't know how to market it to people, that they love it, but they can't figure out where it would fit. And I'll talk more about that story if you're interested later. So I'm jumping into Authortube because I'm going to start editing this thing. And I feel like if I make it a video, even if it doesn't do well, which it probably won't, it'll be a little bit more motivation if I get other people invested in. And I'm really hoping that, like, if you're one of those people, and I have a couple of them now, the subscribers that, like, are constantly commenting on everything, I love you. Please comment on these. Please say something so that I have someone keeping me accountable for this, because I have a tendency to just stop editing halfway through. So first, let me tell you a little bit about this manuscript. It is a lot different than most of the things I've written. This is the first manuscript that I ever wrote wholly outside of NaNoWriMo. Not a word of this was written as part of a NaNoWriMo goal, which was a really big deal for me because before this, I'd literally never finished a manuscript that was not written at least in part at NaNoWriMo. The nice thing is that it's 90,000 words, so even if I go through and I cut some stuff, I'm still sitting really pretty with word count. But the story is also very personal to me. It revolves around a young girl, well, not young, I guess she's 16. It's her fictional autobiography about her time leaving a cult and growing up in the outside world as a result of it. Now, I did not grow up in a cult, but I was a legally ordained reverend's daughter for pretty much all of my life. My father has only recently left working in a church and could still go back. And I was 20 years old when I officially left that belief system. And this story was begun originally not long after that. And then I went back and finally rewrote it and finished it last year. And it has the same feelings I had of basically once you've grown up in the church as faithfully as my family was, you almost have to relearn what to do in the outside world, especially when like Christmas time comes around and that kind of stuff. And so a lot of that feeling of it feels like I have to relearn living a lot of ways, or have to relearn what I believe or what I do in situations, or where I get inspiration or where I get my sense of peace from. And that came out in this character. So Edith, which is my favorite name for a character, haven't quite convinced my husband to name any of our kids that, so I'm naming a book character that. Decides at the age of 16 that she doesn't believe what the rest of the commune believes, and decides to leave using a kind of loophole in their belief system. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but basically she finds herself thrown out into the world with next to nothing. She's never owned a smartphone in her life. She has gone to movies in the theater, maybe seen movies and gone to like bookstores, but she's never really lived in the world outside of, you know, going shopping with her mom. There's also, and this will come important later, there is a mixed race family that she ends up fostering with that I'm definitely going to need some sensitivity readers or beta readers that are either Black or biracial or come from a mixed race family, that kind of thing, just to make sure that I've got all that on the up and up. I started it today. I got through 12 pages. I'm not going to do anything specific numbers wise for pages. I'm not going to be like, oh, I have to get X number of pages a day, mostly because the book as of yet is not cut up into chapters. I don't think in chapters in stories. I think in one unending story, and then I cut it up after the fact. So basically my idea is I want to get to around at least 10-ish pages or the nearest best chapter break for that. So it could be as little as 8, as high as 15. I don't really want to go close to 20. Now, the entire thing, as of right now, is 315 pages in the Microsoft Word document, more or less. And it'll grow a little bit as I get the chapter breaks in. So in general, I should be done with this in about a month-ish time. So by the time August comes around, I'm hoping to be done with it. Now, there may be days I can't always do it, but today has been a really, really, really good day. Those 12 pages just flew by, and I'm still a little nervous that my protagonist is kind of boring, because a lot of the first part of it is basically all the things she doesn't believe and the things she can't do, and how, it's more what she's not than what she is. So I'm really nervous that she's going to come across as bland. But for right now, I'm sitting pretty. I'm feeling good. I'm going to keep written track of everything I'm doing. And as I edit and as I talk to you guys about it, I probably will bring up a little bit of the story. Nothing too plot twisty, so the farther I go, the less I'll probably say. But again, I really need to keep myself accountable. I feel like if I work at it, I could get this thing query ready by the end of the year. If I can get the edits done, if I can get quick beta readers, and I start working on things like hooks and synopses and all that kind of stuff, I could get this query ready by the end of the year and then focus next year on querying it. I also am going to work on saving up money, because there are some stories that, while I love them, I have to admit, they're not traditional. And I personally would love to be a hybrid author that's both indie and traditionally published. If you've been on my channel, you know I love indie books, but I've also read a lot of traditional books that I loved. So let's see if I can't have the best of both worlds. So I will check in with you guys again tomorrow and see where I'm sitting at then. Day 2, and I have officially gotten to page 26. So the amount of pages is holding strong. I'm caught by a worry though, because as I mentioned before, the main character ends up moving in with his interracial family. So it's a black mother and biracial kids. And I'm really caught on names, because I like their names. Like, I really like their names. The problem is, I'm caught between this. Is it racist to give them traditionally black names? Names that are more often used in the African American community than not, like Trey or Amari or like that kind of thing. Is it racist to do that, or is it whitewashing to not do that? Like, I'm not going to give them, like, outlandish names like Laquifa or, whatever. Even though there are people with those names and they are valid names, I just don't think that that's a good look for a white author to be giving black characters. I like their names. I'm just still worried. So this is one of the things where when I get to beta readers and sensitivity readers, I am really going to have to make sure that I have people of that community reading it to make sure that I'm not crazy and I'm not going to offend anyone. But other than that, I still love the story. I still love where it's going. I forgot how much I loved this one. I think I'm having more fun reading this one than the last one I was trying to edit, which I never finished the first round of editing. Whoops. That's why you're here. So yeah, 2 days in, going strong, but the readathon begins tomorrow, the Book Junkie Trials. So let's see how well I can keep this up when I also have to read a ton of books. Here we go. Day 3 of my editing vlogs, and we're still going well. I still haven't decided on the name thing, but that's a question for sensitivity readers, so I'm pushing it off. I also am still a little bit scared that my main character is a little too boring. And then I remembered I gave her at least a couple quirks or two, but really, girlfriend needs more hobbies. I gotta think of a way to add more hobbies in without name dropping anything big pop culture-y. But I do love it. I actually had to stop myself from continuing because I know that there will come a time when I'm not that excited for it. So I need to space it out. I don't want to like rush today and then use up all my excitement and be left in the lurch later. So I'm going to keep myself wanting more so that I'm actually excited to get back to editing the next day. But I'm really happy that 3 days in, I'm still happy to do this. I now have to get a lot of reading done for a readathon because my mom is coming today and I need to get some stuff done before she's here. And then the rest of the day is probably going to be caught up in that. So it's a crazy weekend, but I'm living a good life. I'm happy. Living my best life. It is the afternoon of day 4, and I'm still working on editing 4 days in a row, no skips, not even family visiting and a readathon. It helps that my mom is probably one of my biggest supporters and beta readers. So if I say, hey, I gotta go work on editing, she's fine with it because she'll probably end up beta reading it for me later. I am still loving it. It still flew by, the story, even though I'm editing and read so fast. And today it was lucky that I didn't have to do too much in the way of altering too much. I was actually adding a little bit, which I'm really happy about because I used to struggle with being able to write anything over 50,000 words. So the fact that there's 90,000 words in this and I can still find more things to add makes me so happy. I'm still a little bit nervous with the character not being interesting enough in her own right, not just being from a cult, so I'm going to have to work on that. That's probably going to be one of the big questions I ask my beta readers. And so I'm going to start forming questions for beta readers as I go. I feel like that would be probably the most helpful. But 4 days in, haven't skipped a day, still on track. I am at page 52, so I'm about a little under 1/6 of the way there. So I'm feeling really happy right now. It is day 5 and probably the last update for this vlog. I am at page 63, so still going well. I am a little less nervous today. I got to a point where the main character Eddie was wondering this, maybe it'll be like this, and she was having all of these nice little daydreams that came across as very wistful, and so I know that I have a character here that's not quite boring. She is responding to the things around her and trying new things and liking trying new things, so there's a character there. I'm not quite as nervous that she's bland and boring. But I'm also happy I have not skipped a day yet. First 5 days, I have not skipped one. So I'm going to cut this off here. I feel like with the intro to this vlog might run a little bit longer. And personally, I don't really watch vlogs a lot if they're over 15 to 20 minutes. And I want to keep this under. Because again, I don't even know how many people are actually going to watch this. So if you have, thank you. I know this is weird. I know this may not be watched a lot at all, but this is me incentivizing myself. If this story sounds good to you or something you'd be interested in, please let me know if you'd be a beta reader. I know I've got a lot of other writers that comment. I've gotten so many regular comments lately. I'm so happy. I have regular subscribers that comment on my videos. Sorry. But anyway, thank you so much for coming along. If you're in the editing process, please feel free to commiserate with me in the comments or follow me on Twitter. I'll have that down below. I am officially 1/5 of the way through, more or less, and still going well. I really hope I can keep this up. I'd love to have this done. I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.